What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video. It's a daily dose of football content, and tonight I would like to talk about Manchester United as they get a dramatic and emphatic late win against Omonia FC. Probably one of the most confusing and perplexing performances we put in a while, because on the one hand, Manchester United completely dominated the game and played a brand of football that we have not seen at Old Trafford for a very, very long time. But on the other hand, we had so many opportunities and we squandered so many of them that it is genuinely confusing how it's even possible. Yes, their goalkeeper was man of the match, and he put in a splendid performance. Francis Ozoho put in a magnificent performance, an absolute clinic. He was man of the match by far. I believe he made 12 saves across the 90 minutes for Omonia. 12 saves. He got a 9.9 rating on SofaScore, and I'm convinced that if they didn't concede in the depths of added time, he would have got a 10 out of 10 rating. He genuinely would have got a perfect score on SofaScore if it wasn't for that goal at the end. So yes, there were extenuating circumstances. Their keeper did play well, but it still does not excuse Manchester United not being clinical in front of goal. Now, in terms of the actual performance itself, ignoring how, we weren't able to put away our chances, we actually played really well. We dominated possession. We had 78% possession across the 90 minutes. We had, I believe, 742 passes completed. Well, not completed, sorry, passes played in the game overall, and majority of them came in their final third. By comparison, they only had 212 passes. So we had more than triple the passes they had and more than triple the possession they had, which should come as no surprise because Omonia were just coming to Old Trafford clearly to try and nick a point. They set up in a very resolute and compact 5-3-2 formation, which worked really well in the first half. I'm not going to lie. In the first half, Manchester United were really struggling to create chances, especially on the right-hand side and through the middle. Most of our chances in the first half came through Marcus Rashford and Tyrone Malacia on the overlap. Now, Marcus Rashford in the first sort of 10 to 15 minutes was very selfish, made a couple of bad decisions, even though he took two really good shots and forced two really good saves out of the goalkeeper and then had a one-on-one opportunity, which he should have scored. He made a lot of mistakes. There were moments where he should have passed the ball. There were moments where he should have given it to Malacia on the overlap, but he corrected those mistakes. As the half went on, he was more patient. He took less shots. He was less selfish, and he was looking to bring other people into play. The execution wasn't quite there. There were a few moments where he dribbled past the player and tried to lay it off, but the final touch was not there. But at least the correction was there. So it was good to see Rashford actually try and change something about his game pretty much on the spot. That was a positive from the first half, but we still struggled to get into the game. In the second half, it was a completely different story. We kicked up a level. We kicked up a gear. The tempo was significantly quicker. The passes were a lot crisper, but still in the final third, in Omonia's box, we were lacking the cutting edge to score a goal. And that's in part due to Marcus Rashford. In fact, he had 8 opportunities tonight to really trouble the goalkeeper. Okay, 2 of them were 1v1 opportunities, which he should be scoring. 2 of them were really good long-range shots, which he did get them on target. One was a long-range shot, which he squandered, which was a bit of a head-scratcher. I don't know why he shot from that angle. And then the other opportunities were several chances, half chances in the box. Now, granted, half chances are half chances. You don't expect people to score them. That's why they're called half chances. But when you have several half chances, at least one of them has got to be on target. And that's where I have an issue with Marcus Rashford. And the funny thing is, a lot of people are going in on Rashford tonight. But a certain number 7 also had a lot of half chances and also had a lot of clear-cut chances against the very same team last week. A certain number 7, whose name I won't mention before I start losing followers and subscribers and get told I'm obsessed and have an agenda, missed a lot of chances. People called him unlucky. People said he was unlucky to miss that many chances. I wonder if they'll say the same about Rashford tonight. Well, for those of us who don't have agendas and for those of us who are fair across the board, I think Rashford was terrible tonight because he couldn't finish his dinner. Whether it's Ronaldo, Sancho, Anthony, Martial, Alanga, whichever Anthony you like, or Marcus Rashford, I'm going to say the same thing. It's Omonia in the Europa League, at home, at Old Trafford. You should be scoring at least one of those opportunities. There are no excuses. I don't care if the goalkeeper's gloves literally have some sort of anti-goal technology. I don't care. You are a professional footballer for Manchester United Football Club, one of the biggest brands in the world, not just in football, but in the world. You get paid very handsomely. You should be putting away at least one opportunity, regardless of if your name is Cristiano Ronaldo or Marcus Rashford. Fair? I think that's fair. Let's move on. Let's talk about the second half performance in a little bit more detail because Eriksen came on, Sancho came on, Anthony was hooked. I think Fred came off and McTominay came on as well. McTominay obviously scored the goal. Apart from that, his cameo was very terrible. He took a lot of questionable shots. Well, one questionable shot in particular. I think Eriksson, when he came on, didn't really do much to affect the game. And what could he really have done differently? Because to be fair, Pneumonia was so resolute defensively. Like, they clearly had an intention of sitting deep and just seeing out the game. They clearly wanted that point. And at that point, all you can really do is keep applying the pressure. All you can really do is try to look for space in behind. And it's difficult to do when a team is penned up. Now, my suggestion personally would have been that we tried to get Martinez, Lindelof, and Casemiro to chill on the halfway line, or just below the halfway line, and invite pressure. Because when a team's playing a low block and they're basically just sitting back and conceding possession, what you've got to try to do is invite them. You've got to try, basically lead them on, flirt with them, show them the back door and be like, listen, if you get this ball, you can hit a clean break. There's no one else. It's just me and Martinez on the halfway line. You get past us, it's clean air to David De Gea. You tempt them. You lure the strikers in. You lure the forwards in, and you create space in the midfield. Then you give it to Casemiro, and boom, you move quickly up the field and try exploit the space in behind. Now, I know it sounds simple and it sounds easy when I say it like that. Obviously, in practice, it's a lot more difficult, especially with how resolute and disciplined Ammonia were tonight. But the point still remains. I think we should have done more in terms of trying to get Martinez and Lindelof to pass between themselves and lure the forwards into a pressing trap. That's just my personal opinion, because what else are you going to do with the low block? What else are you going to do? You're going to keep taking long shots and just praying. Like, I don't know. Anyways, apart from that, I don't really have much else to say about the game itself. We dominated. We created a lot of chances. Their goalkeeper was on steroids tonight and was absolutely sent from the footballing heavens to make sure that a goal did not go in. Like, it's almost inexplicable how good goalkeepers become when they get to Old Trafford, especially in the second half. It's just unreal. It's unreal. I'll never forget against Burnley when Jose Mourinho was still manager, Zlatan Ibrahimovic was playing up front, and I believe we had something like 37 shots in the game, and it ended in a 0-0 draw. And I think Nick Pope, was it Nick Pope who played for Burnley at the time? I can't remember who the keeper was, but I think it might have been Nick Pope. And he was just an absolute demon. He just didn't want to concede. That reminded me, that's what tonight reminded me of. That's exactly what tonight reminded me of. It was absolutely insane. The only positive to take away from that performance is the fact that we were able to actually break down a low block multiple times. One of the biggest criticisms of Manchester United is that we struggle to break down a low block under previous managers. We struggle to break down a low block when teams are not pressing us and we don't have space in behind and we're not able to hit them on the break. We struggle, right? That's one of the biggest criticisms. Well, tonight, we clearly showed that we're capable of breaking down a low block, and we clearly showed that we're capable of adapting our tactics. In the second half, one thing I did notice, and this is just a side note, something very clever. Antony in the first half and Rashford were sticking to their wings. They were sticking to their flanks. Antony specifically was hugging the touchline to try pull their fullback or wing back, whatever you want to call it, out to create space in behind for Ronaldo, create space in behind for Bruno, create space in behind for Rashford, right? Basic, nothing clever about that. In the second half, Sancho and Rashford were basically inverting wings. They were switching wings constantly. At times, they were even operating together just to throw Ammonia off. And it worked. It actually worked. We created more chances in the second half because Rashford on one opportunity was on the left. Next opportunity, he's on the right. Sancho on the left. Next opportunity on the right. Literally every few minutes, they're changing flanks. And what that does to a defense like Ammonia tonight, who basically were man marking, not completely, there was a bit of zonal marking there, but when you're man marking, when your coach tells you, hey, I need you to watch Rashford, or hey, I need you to watch Sancho, what are you supposed to do when the guy just literally switches flanks and then the very next play switches back? It eventually messes up with your structure, your cohesion, your organization, the level of concentration, the agility and pace that it takes to track the runners. And then on top of that, seeing what's going on and reading the game and making sure that you don't fall into any traps is difficult. And I think that was one little thing that I noticed about the way we played in the second half that changed the flow and momentum of the game. Even though we were already on the front foot and we were already dominated, we went up a gear because of that little tactical change. Got nothing else to say, though. I thought Casemiro was solid. Bruno, he was meh. I don't think Bruno was that great tonight, but I thought Casemiro was great for whatever that counts for. He hit the crossbar as well, which is pretty cool. But, he was just great in general. I love Casemiro. I'm liking Casemiro in a red shirt. Otherwise, it's been your boy Triple M. Leave a like on the video, comment if you want to, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Peace.